Welcome, miladies of inestimable value. A woman who knows her worth doesn't chase, she attracts, and what she doesn't attract simply isn't worth her time. Here's a hard fact for you. Studies show that people are most drawn to those who value themselves. Now, imagine this. If self-worth had a face, it would belong to the Sigma female. She's the woman who walks into a room and doesn't just turn heads. She controls the atmosphere without lifting a finger. The idea of chasing a man. To her, that's like running after a bus she doesn't even want to catch. Why bother when she could just build her own ride and leave the rest in her dust? What you're about to discover is the raw, unapologetic truth behind why Sigma females would rather stand still than waste a single step running after anyone. Buckle up, because it's not what you think, and trust me, it's even better. Number 1, they're attracted to strength, not neediness. Sigma females are hardwired to be drawn to strength, independence, and emotional maturity, and that's why neediness is an instant deal-breaker for them. To a Sigma, neediness signals insecurity, and nothing makes her lose interest faster than someone who constantly requires reassurance or attention to feel validated. She doesn't have the time or patience to babysit someone's ego or play the role of emotional crutch. If a man needs to be pursued just to feel wanted, he's already disqualified in her eyes. What attracts her is quiet confidence, the kind of strength that doesn't need to shout or demand attention. A Sigma female admires a man who stands solid in his own identity, who doesn't crumble when things get tough or seek constant validation to function. For her, strength is magnetic, not because it's dominant, but because it's steady. She finds value in someone who knows who they are, what they want, and doesn't rely on external approval to feel whole. Neediness, on the other hand, feels like a weight she's not willing to carry. Sigma females have worked too hard to build their own emotional independence, and they expect the same from anyone they allow into their lives. A man who thrives on being chased or needs constant attention to feel secure simply doesn't align with her energy. She'd rather invest her time in someone who matches her emotional resilience and shares her focus on growth and self-awareness. For a Sigma female, relationships aren't about completing each other, they're about complementing each other. If someone lacks the strength to stand on their own, she won't be the one to hold them up. She's drawn to equals, not projects, because she knows that real strength lies in independence, and anything less simply isn't attractive. Number 2, chasing cheapens their worth. Sigma females never chase men because they understand that doing so immediately devalues them. When you chase, you're essentially saying, "I need you to see my worth," and that's a language they refuse to speak. For a Sigma female, her worth is non-negotiable. She knows exactly what she brings to the table, and she's unapologetic about it. Chasing would mean stepping down from that pedestal of self-respect she's carefully built, not for anyone else's approval, but for her own. To her, the concept of chasing is almost offensive. It feels desperate, and desperation has no place in the life of a woman who sees herself as complete. Sigma females believe that attraction is a natural process. It's either there or it's not. If a man can't see her value without her running after him, then he's not her audience. She's not in the business of convincing anyone to want her because, frankly, she has no interest in being with someone who needs convincing. When a Sigma female walks away from chasing, she's not just protecting her dignity, she's making a statement. That statement is this: if you're blind to what's in front of you, I won't waste my time waiting for you to see it. That level of confidence is magnetic. Ironically, the very act of not chasing tends to draw people toward her. For a Sigma female, love isn't about proving herself. It's about mutual respect and effort. And if that's not present from the start, she's out. There's no anger or bitterness about it either. She simply sees chasing as lowering herself, and she's far too busy living her life to ever stoop to that level. It's not arrogance, it's self-awareness. Number 3, they're allergic to power imbalance. Sigma females refuse to chase men because they despise anything that creates a power imbalance. To them, chasing shifts the dynamic into dangerous territory where one person holds all the cards while the other is left scrambling for crumbs of attention. That's not just unappealing, it's unacceptable. Sigma females believe that real relationships are built on equality, not on someone bending over backward while the other sits back and enjoys the show. For a Sigma female, chasing is a one-way ticket to handing over control, and that's something she'll never allow. She understands that the moment she starts pursuing a man, she's giving him the upper hand. Suddenly, the entire relationship becomes about his validation, his pace, and his terms. To a Sigma, that's the opposite of attraction. It's an emotional trap, and she'd rather be alone than let someone dangle her feelings like bait. This isn't about ego. It's about respect. Respect for herself and for the kind of partnership she's looking for. A Sigma female knows that if she's doing all the work to pull someone closer, they're not meeting her halfway. And if they're not willing to meet her halfway, they're not worth her time, energy, or attention. Chasing feels like begging, and a Sigma doesn't beg, ever. What makes her approach so powerful is her ability to walk away without looking back. She won't compromise her principles to tip the scales in someone else's favor. Instead, she waits for someone who naturally matches her energy, someone who sees her as an equal. That's when the power balance is just right, and that's when she knows it's worth it. Anything less, she's out. Because for her, a partnership without balance isn't love, it's submission. And she doesn't play that game. Number 4, chasing kills the thrill for them. For Sigma females, attraction is about mutual discovery, not one-sided effort. The thrill lies in two people naturally gravitating toward each other, both equally intrigued, both equally invested. The moment she feels like she's the only one driving the connection, the entire experience loses its spark. Chasing to her feels forced, a chore, not a thrill. It's a performance, and Sigma females have no interest in playing that exhausting role. What they truly crave is authenticity. The raw, unfiltered connection that doesn't require games or calculated moves. They want to feel the other person's genuine interest, not the hollow satisfaction of winning someone over. To a Sigma female, chasing is like writing a story where she's the only author. It becomes predictable, stale, and frankly boring. Relationships thrive on balance, on effort from both sides. And if she's the only one showing up, she'll walk away without hesitation. Chasing also contradicts everything a Sigma female values about herself. She's not desperate for attention or affection, and she's certainly not interested in proving her worth to someone who isn't meeting her halfway. For her, attraction should feel effortless, like a shared rhythm where both people contribute to the dance. The moment she has to do all the work, the dance falls apart, and she'll step off the floor. In her mind, if she has to chase, it's a clear sign the other person isn't truly interested or doesn't value her enough to reciprocate. And why would she waste her time on someone like that? For a Sigma female, the magic lies in a connection that flows naturally, where both people are equally drawn to each other. Anything less isn't thrilling, it's draining. And she's far too selective to settle for that. Number 5, chasing feels like settling. To a Sigma female, chasing someone is the ultimate act of settling. It's a betrayal of everything she stands for, a quiet, confident self-assurance that doesn't need external validation. Chasing feels like stepping out of her power and handing it over to someone else. And that's something she simply won't do. To her, proving her worth to someone is as absurd as trying to convince someone that the Mona Lisa is beautiful. If they don't see it on their own, they're clearly not the audience. The very idea of chasing contradicts the core of her identity. Sigma females thrive on independence and self-respect, and chasing feels like trading those in for scraps of attention. It's a dynamic where one person is elevated and the other is in pursuit, and that imbalance is deeply unappealing to her. She doesn't want a relationship built on convincing someone to see her value. She wants a connection where her value is already acknowledged and celebrated. For a Sigma, settling isn't just about the other person, it's about how it makes her feel about herself. Chasing someone would mean lowering her standards, and she knows that's a slippery slope to losing sight of her worth. She'd much rather walk away, head held high, and stay single than compromise her principles for the sake of companionship. Her approach is simple. If someone doesn't recognize her value from the start, they don't deserve her time. She's not arrogant, she's self-aware. She knows what she brings to the table and refuses to beg anyone to take a seat. To a Sigma female, settling isn't just unattractive, It's unacceptable. And chasing someone? That's the clearest sign of settling there is. Number 6. They're drawn to mutual respect, not ego trips. For Sigma females, relationships are about balance, not one person basking in the glow of being chased while the other plays the role of a performer. They see partnerships as mutual exchanges of respect, understanding, and effort, not a game of inflated egos or power plays. Chasing to them feels like pouring energy into stroking someone else's ego, and nothing could be more draining or less appealing. If the connection starts with one person doing all the work, it's a red flag they won't ignore. Sigma females have no interest in feeding someone's need to feel wanted through constant pursuit. It's not that they're against putting in effort. They just believe it should come from both sides. They know that a healthy relationship isn't about one person being placed on a pedestal while the other scrambles for attention. The moment they sense they're being pushed into that dynamic, they're out. What truly captivates them is mutual respect. They want someone who recognizes their value naturally, not someone who needs to be convinced or chased to notice. To a Sigma, a relationship isn't about proving anything. It's about two people standing as equals, each appreciating the other without games or theatrics. That's the kind of dynamic that keeps their attention. Chasing, on the other hand, feels like cheap entertainment, a performance to inflate someone's sense of importance. And Sigma females have no patience for that. They'd rather walk away and wait for someone who values them from the start than waste their time on someone who needs a show to feel special. For them, a real connection doesn't come with ego trips. It comes with authenticity, and that's the only thing worth pursuing. Number 7. They'd rather be misunderstood than misaligned. Sigma females are fully aware that society often misunderstands them. They've been called too independent, intimidating, or even difficult, but these labels don't bother them. In fact, they wear them like badges of honor. To a Sigma female, being misunderstood is far more tolerable than being misaligned with her own values. She knows who she is and what she stands for, and she refuses to bend those principles just to fit someone else's expectations or to make herself more palatable for a relationship. Compromising her values to win someone over feels like the ultimate betrayal of self. She's worked hard to cultivate her sense of identity, and no connection, no matter how tempting, is worth sacrificing that. To her, alignment with her core beliefs is non-negotiable. If she has to dilute her personality, shrink her ambitions, or downplay her independence to make someone comfortable, it's simply not worth it. She'd rather walk away and endure the sting of being labeled hard to handle than betray her own truth. Society loves to criticize those who don't conform, but a Sigma female thrives on walking her own path. She's not interested in chasing the validation of people who don't understand her. What she's after is something real, something that doesn't require her to choose between staying true to herself and being accepted. If that means being misunderstood, so be it. At least she can look herself in the mirror and know she didn't compromise her integrity. For Sigma females, it's simple. Alignment with their values always comes first. They'd rather be judged, dismissed, or even alone than settle for a relationship that forces them to be anything other than who they truly are. Misunderstanding, they can handle. Misalignment, never. Number 8, they read actions, not words. For Sigma females, actions speak louder than any sweet talk or charming words. They're not easily swayed by smooth talkers or grand gestures that lack real substance. What matters to them is how a man behaves, how he shows up when it counts, how consistent he is with his actions, and whether his behavior aligns with his words. If he says all the right things but doesn't back them up with meaningful effort, she'll tune him out faster than you can say empty promises. To a Sigma female, actions are the real measure of someone's character. Talk is cheap, and anyone can say whatever sounds good in the moment, but it's the follow-through that truly matters. She pays attention to how someone treats her, not just how they flatter her. If he's reliable, consistent, and puts in the effort to match her energy, that's the type of connection she values. But if his actions don't align with his words, she won't waste time trying to figure out whether or not he's genuine. Sweet talk can be a game, a tool to win someone over in the short term. But a Sigma female knows that words without action are just noise, empty air meant to fill the space. She's not looking for temporary thrills or superficial connections. She's after substance. She's after someone who can prove through their actions that they're worthy of her time and attention. For a Sigma, it's simple. If you say you're going to do something, show her. If you promise something, deliver. Anything less, and she'll move on without a second thought. She knows that actions are the true reflection of a person's character, and she won't settle for anything less than someone who lives up to their word. Number 9. Men who want to be chased bore them. Sigma females have no patience for men who thrive on being chased. If a man is constantly seeking attention or waiting for someone to pursue him, it's an immediate red flag. To her, this behavior screams insecurity and a lack of depth. She sees it as a blatant sign that he's more interested in the validation of the chase than in building something meaningful. Sigma females are attracted to substance, not ego-driven games, and the thought of running after someone who doesn't even know how to take the lead is a major turnoff. A man who seeks to be chased doesn't inspire admiration in a Sigma, he simply bores her. She's not here for someone who needs constant reassurance or craves being the center of attention. She's looking for someone who exudes quiet confidence, a man who knows his worth and doesn't need to be pursued to feel validated. He's already secure in himself, and his actions reflect that. There's no need for flashy displays or childish games. He's the kind of person who knows what he wants, and he's perfectly fine letting things develop organically without the need for constant pursuit. For a Sigma female, confidence isn't about loud declarations or requiring someone to chase you around. It's about calm assurance, self-sufficiency, and not needing the spotlight to know you're worth it. Men who need to be chased often lack the emotional maturity and self-awareness she values, and that's a deal-breaker for her. She would much rather spend her energy on someone who's comfortable in their own skin, able to meet her with the same quiet confidence and mutual respect that she brings to the table. Number 10. They're strategists, not desperados. Sigma females approach relationships like skilled strategists, not desperate players in a game of pursuit. To them, chasing is an inefficient and fruitless use of energy. If there's a real connection to be made, it will unfold naturally. No need for forced effort or relentless chasing. They know that meaningful relationships aren't born from desperation or one-sided effort. They develop from a genuine mutual interest where both parties are equally invested. Rather than running after someone, Sigma females prefer to observe, analyze, and wait for the right signals. They watch how a person behaves, how they invest their time and energy, and how consistent they are. If the effort isn't mutual, they won't waste their time trying to force something that isn't meant to be. They're perfectly content being patient, knowing that something real can't be rushed. It's not about waiting passively, though. Sigma females are always engaged with life, focusing on their own growth and aspirations. They don't need the validation of someone else to feel whole. To chase, in their eyes, is to settle for something shallow and fleeting, a connection based on chasing after the wrong signals. Instead, they value those relationships where effort comes naturally and is equally matched. They know that true connection doesn't need to be forced. So, while others may desperately scramble for attention, Sigma females are calmly observing, analyzing, and waiting for the right kind of effort to come their way. It's all about efficiency, putting their energy into something that has potential, not into chasing after something that might not even be worth their time. In the end, Sigma females are not interested in the exhausting dance of chasing or being chased. They value authenticity, strength, and mutual effort, understanding that true connections don't need to be forced. They evolve naturally when both parties are aligned. They know their worth, and they're not about to waste their energy on anything that doesn't resonate with their core values. For Sigma females, it's all about quality over quantity, depth over surface-level interactions, and respect over empty words. They don't need to chase because they've already learned that what's meant for them will find its way, effortlessly. So, while the world may rush in pursuit, Sigma females stand firmly in their own power, waiting for the kind of connection that matches their pace, their energy, and their extraordinary essence. If you've resonated with this, Don't let this connection end here. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world of Sigma females and all the unique insights they bring to the table. You won't want to miss out on the next exploration of strength, independence, and authenticity. Hit that subscribe button and join the journey, because you deserve to be a part of a community that values the real, the raw, and the extraordinary. Let's keep this conversation going. Thanks for watching, my ladies. See you in the next video. Bye for now, and God bless.